Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this HP laptop, model 15-dy1043dx. Right, so this had liquid spilled on it. They told me it was in their bag, and then liquid spilled out, I guess water, and it went on their computer. So we're going to open it up and take a look. So I'm going to use my fingernail and get in this rubber piece to peel that up. Okay, you got to peel these up because they hide screws underneath. And then you want to make sure to keep track of this because both rubber pieces are different. Okay, the one towards the back is actually thicker. Okay, and you want to make sure you're peeling up the adhesive, not just the rubber piece, because if you peel up just the rubber piece, you're going to stretch the thing out, and that's not going to be fun. All right, so we're going to be using a JS1 or PH1 screwdriver. We're going to remove all the screws from the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove these. You want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. So we got three here. There's two black ones, and then there's a silver one in the middle. Okay, so three. And then we got two, one on either side, these silver screws. All right, again, keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The silver ones, right now, they seem to be skinnier. So, yeah, all right. And then we got three more silver screws under here. Okay, sometimes the screws are also longer, so you do want to be careful not to mix them up. All right, so there we go. Now we got all those screws out. We're going to go ahead and pop the bottom cover off. So the way I do that is I get my fingernail in between the palm rest and the bottom cover, and then I'm going to pull with my fingers up and push down with my thumbs. So just like this, you can see, pops out. Okay, then we'll go around to the side and continue doing the same thing. Okay. You want to be careful where the little ports are. You don't want to end up cracking those since it's more narrow. There's less plastic holding it together. All right, so we're going to go around and pull this. Same thing. Okay. Then when we get to here, usually we can kind of just wiggle it, but if it doesn't, you might have to get in there and help pry it. But let's see. Oh, actually, okay, on this one, you just lift up. Oh, not completely. All right, so I guess wiggle it, and there we go. All right, so far, I do see a little bit of water right there. Nothing crazy yet. So we're gonna have to dry it. Oh, I feel water coming out. My hands just got wet from touching it. Okay, so we're gonna have to dry this up. There's a little water there and there. It's probably just hard to see. First thing we want to do after getting this open is to disconnect the battery. So we can get a thumbnail here, but we gotta quickly get to the battery. Okay, thumbnail. All right, let's get the battery out. Hopefully nothing shorted or fried. I don't know if they tried turning it on or anything. All right, again, we're gonna remove all the screws and keep them in order. All right, if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well. As you can see, we just pulled the battery up like that. All right, and if you can't help out that way, yeah, well, I already said that. Like, comment, and watch a few of my other videos because that's what the algorithm likes to see. And if you can, check out my It's Been Reviewed channel, which is pretty much the same, but it's zoomed in on the little profile picture. You can see the battery model number here, HT03XL. We'll set that aside. Okay, so if you can find that and subscribe to that, I need 500 subscribers on there to be able to monetize on that channel. So help me with that, and then hopefully I can like split off my review videos to that channel specifically, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, so we'll dry all this up because there's quite a bit of water in there. You can see it's getting like water droplets as I'm just patting it. Uh-oh. Okay, so I can actually see a little bit of corrosion there. You can see it's kind of white and powdery. So yeah, that's indication of liquid damage there. And we'll find out. All right, we're gonna continue taking stuff out. We got an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here, one screw. We'll take that out. Again, keep track of all the screws. There's going to be a lot of them. All right. Pull that up slightly. Pull that back. Was that water or plastic? Okay, so there's the M.2 PCIe NVMe. All right. You could technically upgrade to any M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD as long as it's that length to put the screw in. Okay. I'm going to flip this. Let me zoom in for you guys a little bit so you can see a little bit better. We're going to flip this latch up. Pull this cable out. Okay. We can flip this latch up. pull this cable out and take a look. All right, looks okay. I don't see any burnt stuff on the cable. That's a good thing. All right, we're gonna grab this connector and just kind of wiggle and pull it. There we go. We'll get this just out of the way. I kind of just want to check quickly underneath to see if there's any liquid in there. There's 2 screws here. I'm just gonna take these out, okay, for the 2 USB ports here. You can see now that those screws are out, this board comes out really easily. And then there's a button here. Is that the power button? Was that the power button? Is that the power button? That is the power button. Okay, so the power button is removable. That's nice. So if for some reason the power button breaks, you can replace it easily with this little board. There's a model number on there, DA0P5DTB8B0, something like that. You can also check yours in case it's different. All right, so there we go. We'll set that aside. All right. Oh, that's one thing we gotta do actually. So let's reconnect this board real quick. Okay, I'm gonna reconnect the USB board. Come on, get back in there. There we go. Line that up. Click that in. Same thing. Line this up. Okay, click that down. I'm going to open the laptop just so it detects that the screen's open. And then what we're going to do, we're going to press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This makes it a lot safer to work on, especially since we're going to be removing the LCD LVDS connectors and things like that, okay? Some people ask if you need to do this. I mean, you could technically remove the screen without taking out screws if you just want to rip things apart, but the whole point is to do this as safely as possible, right? You don't want to destroy your computer. So take those 15 seconds, hold the power button, and then you can go ahead and remove that and do whatever, all right? Makes it a lot safer. Usually if there's liquid, it probably already pulled all the power out, but again, it's always better to be safe than sorry. All right, we'll flip this latch up, and then we'll pull this cable. This is the LCD LVDS connector. Right, it looks like there was some adhesive, but it didn't really stick. We're just going to move that out of the way. These are the speakers. I'm not too worried if water got in there. They usually don't have any problems with water being stuck in it. Okay, we got the fan here. Let's go ahead and remove that. Let me actually zoom in a little bit more. Okay, looks like there's 3 screws, and hopefully they didn't attach it to the heatsink. Sometimes the companies like to attach the heatsink to the fan. It's kind of annoying. All right. So get those 3 screws out, and yep, we can lift this. So this kind of connector here, let me zoom in to show you a little bit better. If you don't have fingernails, you want to use like a thin tool that's not really conductive. You get underneath, you can see there's this middle portion. Make sure you're not prying up the connector around it, and we're just gonna pop this up. Okay, so get underneath and then pop it up. Sometimes it helps to go from one side. Oh, it doesn't really want to pop out. Come on, there we go. All right, so there we go. If you use a little thin tool, you can actually see there's a little groove in there, so you can stick the tool further underneath the middle and then pop it up. But there's the fan, okay? Pretty easy to remove. Set that aside. So far, I'm not seeing much water on the inside there, so we're good. All right, let me zoom out again so we can start removing the motherboard. You do have the RAM slot, 2 tabs, pull it to the side, they pop out like that. This is PC4-2666V, so you should be able to upgrade with any PC4-2666V RAM. If you want to upgrade it, go for it. All right, so we got that, and then we got this one. All right, same thing. This one is an 8 gig stick, PC4-3200AA. So actually, if you want, you can use PC4-3200AA RAM as well. This is already an 8 gig stick, so you could upgrade by changing the other 4 gig stick to an 8 gig stick and have 16 gigs instead of having 12. Okay. I don't know why they decided to do that. There's only one wireless antenna here, kind of weird. Does that mean it's not dual band? That's kind of dumb. All right, we're gonna pull this antenna up, just go from the tail, pull straight up, and you can see it comes out. We're gonna take this screw out, and it pops up. We're gonna wiggle and pull that. All right, so this doesn't look wet either. You might hopefully be lucky. Hopefully they didn't try and power it and fry their computer. We're going to zoom back out because I'm running out of desk space to move things around. We're going to flip this latch up, pull this cable out. Same thing with this side, flip that latch up and pull this cable out. Okay, take a look, and there was some water on this cable on this end, so there's some water in the SD card slot area here. So I'm gonna take this out, and this out. Sorry, it's going out of view. There's 2 screws there. So remove both. Then we can get this out, and you can actually see there's some water on there. We'll just dry that, and I'm gonna have to use my air blower to make sure it's completely dry. But so far there's minimal. There's a little bit of water there as well. They said they spilled on it a couple hours ago, so hopefully that time the water was in there didn't fry it. Usually it's not too bad as long as you don't turn on the computer. We're gonna try and dry this. There's some like weird orangey brown stuff, so maybe it got corroded. I can actually see a little bit of water down in that hole there. If I can get this in there. Okay, clean that up. So there's some water all in this. I'm worried the keyboard's gonna be toast, but hopefully not. All right, keyboard connector, flip that latch. We can lift this slightly up and then pull that out. Keyboard connector looks okay. Touchpad connector, flip that latch, lift it up slightly, pull that out. That looks okay, at least from that side. All right, the touchpad does look removable, so I'm gonna have to zoom out here to show this because I ran out of desk space. So there's one hole there, there's one screw here, and one screw here. So actually there's only 2. The other one, I don't know what goes there, but it does have a little screw mount. And then we can hopefully lift this up. Okay, it goes up like this at an angle, and then this comes out because this piece, it actually tucks under the plastic here, okay? So you do have to lift it that way. All right, so there's a little rubber nub here. I don't see any water in it, so I think we're okay. If you want to get the rest of it out, you have to move this plastic out of the way. And then there's 3 screws here. We'll remove those. We're gonna have to switch actually to a PH0 or JIS0. If your PH0, JIS0 screwdriver doesn't work, you might have to switch to an even smaller one, but you want to make sure that your screwdriver gets a nice solid fit. You don't want to try and undo the screws if it's wobbly, okay? You don't want to destroy your thing. All right. So we got 3 screws here. We're going to remove those. All right, and let's see if we can lift this up actually. Oh, this is held down with some adhesive. So usually the way I peel these is I keep a finger here sideways so it doesn't just rip out. And I'm gonna pull it that direction while pulling up to try and keep the cable as flat as possible, okay? Just like this. You can kind of wiggle it a little. Again, pulling and trying to keep it flat. There we go. And it's peeling up this sticker, so we're gonna have to separate that. So I'm gonna pull from this side, and it's actually gonna tear that sticker. All right, so there we go. We peeled that up. If you want, you can flip this latch, and then you can take the cable out of here as well. And that cable looks okay. I'm gonna leave it upside down because of the adhesive. I don't want it to stick on something. And then we're gonna pull this up. So the touchpad, okay, it looks like we can pull it up from anywhere because, oh, there's this rubber foam kind of holding it down. So we're gonna hold these plastic things out of the way, tilt it this way, and then what I'm gonna do is while it's this way, I'm gonna push it over, and that helps peel that off. So basically, flip it this way and then slide it over that way, and that peeled this adhesive away from there. So that's the touchpad. It doesn't look like there's any liquid on it, so I think we're okay with that as far as that goes. We'll set that aside, and I'm really running out of desk space. All right, so we're gonna set aside, we're gonna take out the PH0, JIS0, switch back to the PH1, JIS1, and let's see what screws are holding the motherboard. They have little arrows that point to the screws that hold it in place. So that's how you know where the screws came from. Okay, so we got that one. Got a silver screw here. Okay, make sure you don't mix these screws up again. Keep them in the order, the pattern that you remove them. We got 2 black screws down here, also with the arrows pointing to it so you know where they came from. Okay, we got another screw here, again with another arrow pointing to it. So it's nice, they have arrows pointing to it, and then we got 2 more silver screws here. So I'll remove those as well. Okay, we got that one, and then we got this one. And I think that's all the screws holding the motherboard down. We do have to pop up this speaker connector. In this case, there's not much slack, so trying to get in there is going to be difficult. So let's see, we'll try and use this little tool here. So basically, Oh, you also have the wireless antennas here, so be careful. Okay, so it'll work better if you have the flat end usually. So we're gonna have to get under there and kind of lift the little, oh, there's not much room in here. I don't know how I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna get the corner of the cable or the pick in there and try and twist it, and there we go. Okay, I don't know if you were able to see that. I have videos showing that on other like older MacBooks, so if you want to see how to do that, but basically you just get in a corner and kind of lift as close to that connector as you can. All right, I think we got everything out to lift the whole motherboard up, so let's go ahead and lift it out. We're gonna slowly lift this because you never know, it can get caught on stuff, right? We have to lift from this side as well and work our way. And oh, there's a bunch of water there as well. Okay, so we're gonna have to dry that off. And then I'm gonna have to kind of scrub any corrosion out and hope that the thing survived. We're gonna have to dry all under here. It's very wet there. Okay, I'm gonna actually just use a toothbrush and kind of scrub here. That has me a little bit worried. I don't know if you can see that. It looks a little burnt, but I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna scrub this up just to clear any corrosion. Oops, sorry, why is it so blurry? Focus. Focus. Why isn't it focusing? What's happening here? There we go. Okay, so we'll scrub this. Don't focus on that. Okay. All right, we'll scrub that. I was just focusing on a random corner of the thing down here instead of up here. All right, so it looks, hopefully it will be okay. Again, we did have the little corrosion there. We're gonna scrub that off and hope it's okay. It doesn't look like it burned, but, oh, actually, uh-oh. No, I think we're in trouble here. And I'm not able to replace that kind of piece. See that? Right there. That black thing is not supposed to have that burnt thing on the edge. So that alone, sadly, probably fried the whole thing. We're gonna set this board aside now that we're done cleaning it. I'm gonna dry up this some more. And then I'm gonna take this whole thing outside. I'm gonna use my air blower and just dry it as much as I can. Make sure the whole keyboard, everything is dry. We'll put it back together, see if we have any luck, but I kind of have my doubts, especially after seeing that little chip that looks all melted. All right, so I'm gonna dry this. I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back. So a lot of liquid was actually caught underneath here. I tried to dry it as much as I could. I also dried on the keyboard side. So we'll see. We'll put it back together, but again, I'm not holding my breath on this one because, yeah, you saw that little chip. So we're gonna go ahead and put the thing back together. Okay, get everything lined back up. Drop it back down into place. Okay, we're gonna get this over here. Get this out of the way. Make sure the cables that were on top end up back on top. You don't want anything stuck underneath. That's not supposed to be. Line up the little screw mount holes there. Okay, drop everything back in. Looks good. And let me see. Maybe I can zoom in on this a little bit. All right, we got this. We're gonna go ahead and get this reconnected. So basically just line it up and then click it down. Okay, make sure you get both sides. All right. You can go ahead and put the RAM back in. So this stick was over here. Click that in. Hopefully it's not gonna be in the way when I put the screws back. All right, and then this one was over here. Same thing, going at an angle. Click that down. All right, so let me see. We'll go ahead and put the touchpad back in just so I have more room here to show you guys stuff. Okay, let's zoom out. All right, touchpad. We have this. Again, we're gonna go ahead and put this cable back in. So make sure that latches up. There's dust on it. All right, get that in, line that up. Oh, it's going sideways, so make sure it goes in straight. Okay, you can use the blue tab to help pull it in and then slide your finger over the top to latch it. Don't use like a thing to like flick it up backwards, because then you can actually accidentally flip that little piece off. I've had some people do that. Oops, I dropped the touchpad. Okay. Yo. I dropped it in my trash can next to me. Let me. Okay. So we got this. All right. So this plastic piece is supposed to go underneath, but right now it's on top. I'm gonna get this here. Make sure this foam piece also goes back on top. Okay. We'll line that up. Drop that in. Get the clear plastic piece. Well, let's get the screws first, obviously. So we'll get the screws. I think we had to switch back to the PH0 or JS0 screwdriver. Okay, and we'll get these 3 screws back in. So get that. First one. Second one. Alright, and third one. Alright, now we got all the screws in. You can go ahead and push that black foam back in. Get this piece back under there. Stick that on top. This goes on top here. Okay. Then this piece just goes along sideways here. And you can try and line up the piece that we tore earlier. So line that back up. Stick that back down. Alright, and then flip that latch up. We'll get this back in. Okay, slide your finger over to latch it down. And actually it's being weird here because that did go out of alignment a little because this piece actually it peeled this adhesive. So we'll have to line this up and then we'll do the rest. So I'll line this piece up here. Stuck to my finger. I'm going to use this little paper clip to help get it into place. Get it there. Line it up. Stick that down. Line it up better. Close enough. All right, so make sure that's in. Push that down. Stick that down. Keyboard connector. Get that. Line that up. It does have to go in at a downward angle because it has those little wings that will get caught on those raised portions there. Right, so there we go. Get that in. Slide your finger over to latch it down. All right, we got the other part of the touchpad here. Get that lined up. Don't forget, this has to go in first, so slide that in, then lower that. There's 2 raised mounts there. Okay, and then we got 2 screws here. I'm going to switch back over to the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver because we don't need the PH0, JS0 anymore. Get that in. And get this in. Alright, hopefully I didn't knock any of the motherboard screws around because they're all over my desk. Alright, we got this USB port thing here. We're going to get that back in. Drops right there. Get this screw here. Get this screw here. Okay. We got the little cable here. I don't remember if this goes on top. It does. It follows this thing. Okay. We'll get this back in. Line that up. If you're replacing this, make sure you can see the metal pins through this. The opposite side of the connector is solid plastic, so make sure you don't put it upside down. Okay, there we go. Got this connector. This side goes here. You can see it says USB, so make sure you plug the USB side into the USB thing here. Go in, slide your finger over to latch it, and then this one is to the MB or motherboard. We'll slide that in. Okay, get that, slide your finger over to latch it. Then we got this thing going all the way over here. And that's gonna go here, but we need the fan back in first. Okay, let's actually start putting motherboard screws because I feel like I might be covering motherboard screw holes. All right, so we had the 2 silver screws up here, one here, and then one here. We had 1 black screw down here. All right, make sure this gets out of the way so that way when you put the cover on, it's not going to get smashed and get a hole through that sticker. Okay, then we have the 1 black screw down here on this side of the keyboard connector, the other black screw on this side of the keyboard connector. Okay, good. We didn't cover any of the screw holes. Give me my screwdriver back. All right, we got this silver screw here. There's a little connector here. I don't think it was used. I'm pretty sure this is for a keyboard backlight for other models. All right, then the other black screw over here. All right, we got the wireless card here. We'll get this back in. It goes in at an angle. Okay, then this lowers down and this screw goes in. Make sure the screw mount on this one actually has a raised bit, so you want to make sure this is all the way in, otherwise it'll be resting on top of that, and when you put the screw in, you'll crush it. All right, so we'll line this up. Okay, it hooks on so you know it's caught, and then just push it down. There we go, just like that. That's latched in. What else do we got? Let's see. Okay, we got the fan here. Let me zoom out a little here. The fan. Line that up. Again, make sure to line this up. Again, you want the exposed metal pins face up. Click that down. 3 screws for the fan. We'll get those in. I'm going to loosely fit them first, so loosely fit that. This one. And the last one. And the reason I loosely fit it is so once they're in, I can make sure to pull this as close to that as possible. If there's any wiggle room, you want as small a gap here as possible so that no air kind of flows out around the edge. Okay. Get all of that in. Make sure this latches up. We'll get the LCD LVDS connector in. Make sure it follows that little groove. Get that in. Slide your finger over to latch it. There's some adhesive, but again, it wasn't sticking on anything. All right, what else we got? We got the SD card board here, so we'll get that in. SD card, or sorry, not SD card, SSD. So we'll get that in. Make sure, again, this has a little raised metal portion. Make sure it catches. You see if I wiggle it, it's hitting that raised bump. Okay, and then we'll get this in. Okay, now we're gonna place the, oh, my battery screws are in the way, give me a second. Okay, now we'll replace the little SD card and the headphone jack board here. Okay, so that goes right there. We had 2 screws, one here and one down here. All right, make sure this latches up and this latches up. You have the SD going to the SD card board, obviously. Slide your finger over the latch, and then the MB going to the motherboard, obviously. So get that in, come on. There we go, and then slide your finger over. There's another connector here. I think that's for a hard drive. It doesn't say. This board has no markings at all. I think some models have a battery that just fills here, and then there's a hard drive here, but I don't know if it will fit. Yeah, no. See this? They put all this raised plastic here, so you can't put a hard drive there. Kind of annoying, but the motherboard would support it actually. So I think if you were to destroy all this plastic and then get one of those adapters, you might actually be able to use a hard drive there. Okay, so we're done getting everything else in. We just have the hard drive or the battery now. Line this up, line that up, line this up, push that down. All right. You do want to make sure everything is connected, especially this cable. If you push this back in and you forgot this cable, take the battery back out, open the laptop, press and hold the power button another 15 seconds, because otherwise you're going to fry something, okay? We're going to now get the battery screws back in, 3 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And yeah, and then we'll put the bottom cover back on. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, again, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Right? Again, if you can't help out that way, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Other than that, let's go ahead and pop all these clips back in. So just get everything lined up. I kind of push it in this way as I'm pushing down. It's not too obvious, but that's how you get all the clips back in. Let's zoom out a little bit more so you can see the whole thing. All right, I'm pretty sure it's dead again because of that little square. The SSD didn't seem to take any liquid damage, so technically if they need their data, we can pull the SSD out and get the data. So there's that at least, all right? But yeah, hopefully this video helped you guys at least with yours. You can upgrade the SSD, you can upgrade the RAM. Yeah, And if you need to replace like the charge port, battery, things like that, it's not too bad on this model actually. This one's relatively easy to take apart and not too bad. All right, so I'll finish getting the rest of these screws back in, get the rubber piece back in. I'll have to see if I have an HP charger I can use to test this. I think I have one. Yeah, I think, but it's a more powerful one. It should be okay as long as it's the same voltage. The computer will pull as much amperage as it needs, and then we should be okay. All right, so the rubber piece, you get the one side in first. Make sure to get it centered, okay? So just like this. It looks like their adhesive is kind of not lined up right. And then we'll get this side here, kind of stretch it over, and try and get this edge in as well. And then you just work your way towards the center, making sure it follows the little groove, and we should be good. All right, same thing with the thicker one on the back here. Stick the edge in, get a little bit of it down, go over to this side, same thing, stick that edge in, work your way towards the center. You can see it's kind of stretched a little, but that's why you kind of go towards the center, and then all the excess you can kind of just line it up and push it all out just like that. And there we go. So let's go ahead and see if this does anything. Hopefully it's not going to start sparking and exploding. Nothing's happening with the power button. I don't see any signs of life here. Oh, we didn't clip this all the way down. So make sure to clip everything in. All right, let's plug my charger in and we'll see. The HP chargers, they have a blue tip. So make sure if you're getting a charger that you use the blue tip one. The Dell one has the same voltage and stuff, but HP has this chip inside that if you put the wrong one, it doesn't work right. So you want to make sure to get the right one. All right, so we got this charger here. Let's plug it in and see if anything happens. Hopefully it doesn't explode. No signs of life. I don't see any charging indication lights or anything. Power button's dead, nothing. So sadly, this thing's completely fried. It's mainly the motherboard. I think everything else might be okay, but the motherboard definitely on this is shot. So there we go. I guess that was kind of a waste of time, lots of work, and not really gonna get paid much because I don't like charging people crazy amounts for not fixing anything. All right, anyways, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Let's drop this.